stuff. Hello. I think I gotta wash my my webcam because it's like a little fuzzy. So, hi Jen. Good morning. How is everybody? I polished the shirt. I polished the cam on the shirt. Yeah, I'll do that. I think it looks fine, but I'll do that after. I got some smudgies on it. So, morning, Heather. Heather says, I found a very young, sweet mama cat. Oh, at least 2 tiny kittens. She is old and burnt out, building down the road. And I took her some dry food and water. Named her Lilith. Oh, Heather, your cat tribe has been growing. Oh, that's great. That's great. All of our, oh, she's so sweet. Yeah, she sounds sweet. I mean, most of our cats have been found, rescued. So, yeah. You'll have to take some pictures for us. So, let's see if we have any more people come in today. Going to take her some food, wet food. Okay. Yeah, that would be great. We couldn't catch the mama cat to our who had our cats. She was just too scared. She wouldn't even go near the food. But we definitely, if we couldn't catch her, we definitely would have tried to help her in some way. What book are we chatting about today? So we are still on Healing Wise by Susun Weed. And we're going very slowly through the book. And I hope, it seems like everyone's liking this sort of strange book club that I am doing. So I also need to wash my glasses. Everything's really fuzzy. Okay. So, hi, Silver Willow. Hi, Pansy. Hello, everyone. Welcome. And so, yeah, so we're taking like a little section every week, and then we're going to be, then I talk about a plant that she has in the back of the book. And usually we discuss it for several weeks. So that is sort of how it goes. No, Jen, there's not a new book you have to read on your own. Yes, I will start at the beginning. So the reason I decided to do this format, I'm going to start, is because I don't have any time to read at all. I had like 0 time. So it just wasn't working out. Like I was like, okay, we're going to do the book club and read this part. And I couldn't read it. So the format is that I take a section of the, so the Healing Wise is broken up into little sections. They're not really chapters. in the beginning of the book, and they talk about the 3 healing traditions. So we're on the wise woman tradition, which is a large chunk, and then we're going to go into the scientific, and then we're going to go in heroic, and then the scientific. And then I read it out loud, and we discuss. And then the second part is that we go back into the back of the book, and we talk about a plant. And usually we're on that plant for several weeks. So it's kind of a deep dive, and we talk about health, because these are 3 ways of looking at health and how it relates to herbs and life and everything else. So yeah, so that's how it's going to go. There's a Facebook group, you know, and if anyone yeah, where you can post up anything you want, you know. So the herb we're on is violet, so yeah, so there were some discussion questions. I don't know if anyone had a chance to look at them, but as I'm reading, just be thinking about these questions, and then we can talk about them. What is a time you found it hard to say no? And then why was it hard? And then how could this tie into health? How could saying no tie into good health or health in general? And so I'm on page 26 for anyone who has the book and wants to read along. Oh, hey, Julie, did you change your name? Okay, I thought so. And it's the Wise Woman tradition loves rough. So, so I'm going to start reading. If everyone's ready. Sorry, just to go back a bit, in this format, like, you could buy the book or not. So it's just, it's kind of, you know, it's not required that you buy the book. But it does have a lot of awesome, like, references in it. So it's not too expensive. It's about $12 used. I'm sorry, new. And then I have links to used as well. Jen says, same for me, no time to read unless I press record. Yes, it's a killer. Cool. Yeah, you're welcome. Oh, that's your magical name, Julie. Nice. I love it. Okay. Oh, and I just want to, when we get to okay, so since everyone's here, Julie suggested that I color, because the illustrations are really beautiful in this book. They really lend themselves to coloring. And since my book is kind of falling apart, she suggested I start coloring. So I started coloring. This is a violet picture. And if anyone wants to color, you know, feel free to color with me and, you know, post it to the Facebook group or, oh, thank you. You know, wherever you, yeah, Facebook group is where you could post it. But yeah, I haven't finished, but, okay, so the Wise Woman tradition loves rough. So just thinking about a time when it's hard for you to, was hard for you to say no, and why. Just as receptive power seems a contradiction in terms to some, so does rough love. Compassion, forgiveness, and unconditional love evoke a sense of squishy, soft acceptance to many. In the Wise Woman tradition, love is rough, real, truthful, and unattached to outcome. In the Wise Woman tradition, love says no as often as it says yes. The Wise Woman tradition sees compassion as passionate. Passion shared is compassion. Passion is rough. Passion is wild. Screams and shouts and tears and torches are part of living with passion. being compassionate, being compassionate in the wise woman ways. Forgiveness is focused on self in the wise woman ways, and believe me, that can be rough. Forgive yourself for being hurt, for suffering, and love yourself enough to tell yourself the truth about it. Is it time to say no? In the wise woman tradition, forgiving ourselves opens our vision to our limits, to our cramped spaces, to our self-inflicted prisons. Keen-sighted from the truth, we see how to free ourselves by setting boundaries that truly protect our fragile aspects, yet are movable, permeable to nourishment. So we receive the intimacy we desire. Saying no leads to unconditional love. Unconditional love that nourishes the inner being does not tolerate abuse, ugliness, lies. Unconditional self-love brings self-respect and demands it of others. Unconditional self-love knows that it is unloving of anyone, self or other, to allow abuse to continue, no matter their age or circumstance. Loving ourselves unconditionally strengthens our power to say no when our heart knows that beauty and truth are not present. Heather says, one kitten is black and the other I saw was white and gray. Oh, how cute. I think I would have like so many cats if I could. Oh my gosh. But I kind of would want like a different living situation. Like, so, I mean, we have 2 cats and that's plenty for a tiny apartment. I think if we had more, it would just be a lot. So, and also for the cats, I want them to have space, you know, to be cats. And I wish we could live in a space where we could sort of let them out as well. But since we live in the city, it's like we don't, because it's dangerous. The wise woman understands that for most of us, saying no is hard to do. We are afraid that if we say no, we won't get enough love. Or worse yet, we won't be allowed to give our love away, and we need to give our love away so we can expect to get love from others. The wise woman understands that we expect love to come from outside, not inside. She knows that this expectation, this assumption, this hope that love comes from outside prevents us from speaking our truth when our heart demands that we say no. Loving ourselves, generating love from inside, not trying to get it from outside, is the wise woman way, a way that allows no to reveal its loving nature. So Herbal says, I need more room for just 2. Yeah. Yeah, we really do too. Become aware of how often you do the expected thing, the good thing, the right thing, says the wise woman helper, and acknowledge the part of yourself that is a liar, that is afraid to say no. Truth and unconditional love support each other. To love yourself unconditionally, you must tell yourself the truth. You cannot hear your own truth if you are lying to others. Begin to tell the truth in the smallest way. This brings you wholeness. Tell the truth often, and you will be filled with beauty. You will have health. You will walk the beauty way of the health, wholeness, holiness. Your truth will bless all you encounter. You will be blessed. Do not be afraid to reveal your own uniqueness, for that is part of your blessing. Woo boy! That's a little bit that packs a punch. All right, so does anyone what has anyone thought of a time or that you feel comfortable sharing when it was hard to say no? It doesn't have to be a huge thing. You know, it can be a small thing. We're saying no and yes all the time, every time we make a decision. So, you know, could be something like, no, I don't want that particular tea. You know, I want this tea, as an example. And then why was it hard? You know, my therapist says that no is more important than yes. And without no, there can't be any yes. So, yeah. I'm going to go to the violet part. Gonna let everyone think for a minute, and then we'll move on to the violets. Heather says, I have a friend who I love, but she asked me to sew and make her some things, and she wasn't taking no for an answer. Oh, okay. So interesting. Yeah. So in that case, it would be hard to say no to your friend because you care about your friend, and you know you want to help her out. Yeah, I can see that. And it's often, yeah, that can make it difficult because you're like, well, if it's better for me to say no to you, you know, you're Silver Willow says, in dealing with my mother, I have just recently started saying no to her because I feel she never has let me be my own person. Yeah. Definitely. You know, and saying no sets boundaries. And it definitely can be hard to say no to a parent. You know, you want to maybe please that parent, and this is great, guys. Thank you for sharing. Heather says, so I said yes. But I had to say no to her many times about other things, and it could be an hour-long process. Wow. Ah, right. Silver Rose says she gets really offended. Right. So you have to deal with, in order to say no, it's hard, you know, because you're facing that other person that you're like, hey, I care about you, but for me, I have to say no, and I apologize. I mean, you know, you don't want to. Yes, she's persistent. Yes, she is, Heather. Definitely. I have a hard time. I take on too many projects. I do too many things, and I say yes to too many things. And so, you know, because I feel like some of them are obligations, and then some of them are, you know, like work things. You know, I need to make money. And then some of them are things that I want to do, or some of them are things that I want to do and I didn't realize the time commitment. So I say yes, and then I get overloaded. So it's been really hard to turn down people who are saying, hey, will you take my work shift? You know, and I'm like, oh, I really don't want to turn you down because, one, you're saying you don't feel well, or something's happened and I want to help you out. And then, and also I'm like, oh, it's more money because I work part-time and we need the money. But I've got all these health issues, and you know, and so if I was to take that on, it would be terrible for my health. So I say no a lot. Let's see. Heather says moms have ideas about who they think we should be. They do, and I still have a hard time with my mother too. So I mean, saying no and saying no, this is not for me. You know, I understand you want me to do this, but for me, it's not for me. And sometimes I get angry and I have a hard time with my emotions. And other times, you know, I'm like, no, just and you just have to say no. That's what my therapist says. You know, no emotions, and just a simple no. It's not good for me, but it's hard not to, you know, because no is very charged. I had to say no to babysitting my grandkids. I want to see them and spend time with them, but they wear me out. Right. Yeah, definitely, Julie. So you have to balance that, you know. It's like you want to see your grandkids, but you want the energy. So for your health, you know, and you have to say no. And that is taking care of yourself, and that is a good thing. That's a good thing. And I got so sick before because I wasn't taking care of self. I wasn't saying no. I wasn't, you know, and if you say no to that, you're saying yes to resting. You're saying yes to doing something that strengthens you, so that next time you see your grandkids, you'll be stronger. And I think everyone wins, but you know, we're scared. I know I'm scared. So they live across the street. My grandson's mostly 1 and 3. That's pretty young. It's quite a handful there. She tries to run everything. I mean, moms are moms, and I feel like I'm constantly working on my relationship with mine, and I feel like I'm not alone. So you know, just do the best you can. Granddaughter is 10. Okay, so you've got 3, Julie. Heather says their mom never really tried to control me. They can trash my house in 5 minutes. Oh no. Yeah. So a lot. It's hard, a lot. But I really like what she says, you know, and I think it's something to, I think everyone, you know, it's just something to keep in mind, or and even if we, you know, say, hey, this is not really good for me, even if we are able to acknowledge that, then we can still decide, hey, this is going to be stressful for me, but I'm going to say yes. So we can still decide. And I think, like, when she talks about lying to yourself, if we can still admit to ourselves, it does give us more options, which is I feel like it's a comforting thought. You know, so Julie, you could watch your grandkids, even though you're like, oh, it's gonna be crazy, you know, but you know that. So you're on a better ground at taking care of yourself, just knowing that. No is not hard for me to say, but I don't get asked stuff too often, living a solitary life. So Heather's saying that. Right. So you don't get asked no by other people, but your life tends to ask you questions even if you're not living around other people. Like Heather, you decided to say yes to those cats. They sort of fell across your, I mean, how could you say no, right? Like I would never say no either, but like, you know, they sort of came into your life. You said yes to the cats, and you said yes to taking care of your garden, and so you know, you still have yes and no, even though it's less influenced by other people. Like saying yes to the cat. Yes. Like saying yes. I mean, like, how could you say no? But you're still saying yes. You're saying yes. I love animals, and I'm saying yes to taking care of these cats. We're trying to help them out. Pansy. I do sometimes for an hour here and there, but yesterday I watched them, my daughter, for a work shift. Right. And that was, you know, and that's a longer period of time, I'm assuming. So you want to, can you have a kitty? We saw these 3 cats at the pet store. I don't know. We shop at PetSmart. We get litter, and they have these kittens that this local charity called Brother Wolf. They sort of have a little mobile adoption in the store. So every time we go, like every couple months, there are different kitties like you can adopt. And there are these 3 kittens, and they were all like, they were brother and sisters, and we're like, oh my gosh, we would take all 3 home if we could. But so, oh, you already have a dog. Yeah. So that could be tricky, especially if, like, you know, they wouldn't get along. Some dogs and cats get along really well. So, well, maybe, I mean, maybe you can have one, or maybe you can volunteer, because this this charity, Brother Wolf, people can volunteer, and they have a whole like cat room where you can go and play with the kittens, like get them to, you know, you're getting them used to socializing with humans. So maybe you can get in your cat, you know, your cat time that way. Losing my sense of letters. Oh, letters. So Heather, if she hadn't come to me being so friendly, I would have not pursued the situation. Yeah. So sometimes it feels like there's not a choice. Had them in the past, but not lately. So did you have Julie, did you have a cat and the dog together? I had a housemate, and he had this very tiny cat and this very large dog, and this very tiny cat would like sleep on the dog, like. So yes, okay. So I mean, maybe it'll work out again, but again, like, you know, if sort of have to convince your husband, or just, you know, find a place to volunteer, or you can like maybe cat sit or something, you know, like, and you know, there's other ways to contribute to helping kitties and be around cats and stuff like that. Let's see. since she was, so Heather says, since she was, it felt like destiny, kind of. Yeah. I mean, sometimes that happens too, where like you just have such a sense of this is supposed to be that you say yes. You know, there's no choice but yes. So, I mean, I feel like you have a choice whether to say yes or no in most situations. And sometimes, I mean, you still have a choice to say no, but, you know, really like the choice is yes. Yeah, I know what you're talking about, Heather. I do. Like volunteering in a no-kill shelter. Yes, Julie, definitely. And those kitties, they need lots of love and attention. And, you know, yeah, that might be a wonderful thing to do, to spend some time doing. Ours is wonderful. It's a no-kill, and it's if I had the time, I would just do it, definitely. Yeah, like the cat asked you for elf feather. Yeah. I mean, all of our cats appeared literally on our doorstep. So it was like, yep, I guess we got cats now. And it does feel like fate, you know? Yeah. Oh, you're in love. Oh. All right. Well, thanks everyone for sharing. I mean, you guys can continue. I mean, we can discuss this more on, you know, I know, but I'm going to probably move on to some more Violet discussion. Or can you wait? Hold on. I'll wait a few more minutes. I lost my book, my place. I lost my place. All right. So next week we will read The Wise Woman Tradition Insists on Uniqueness. And that is page 27. And that is actually really long set. No, sorry, 27 to 28. So if you guys wanted to read ahead, it's a short section. And I don't have questions yet. I don't have a question yet for that, but I'm sure I will think of one. I'm trying to do some discussion questions for us, you know, as we sort of dive into this crunchy book. It's very crunchy. There's a lot. So I'm going to read some chat. Hold on. Julie says, sometimes it starts small, like little favors when you say yes, and then the favors get bigger and you're stuck because the friend can expect you to do it because you have in the past. Yeah, you can feel that way, definitely. But you can still say no. For you. And you can think of it as a way to take care of you. You could also say yes the next time. For me, it's hard because I'm scared of what they're going to think of me, or they're going to still continue to like me. But I've had to put that aside, because so yes, you still have the option to say no. Silver Willow, no, she doesn't come over a lot because she doesn't like how I decorate or clean anything. Well, I relationships with one's parents, and I feel like, especially with my mother, it can be complicated. And so I thank you for sharing so much, Silver Willow, and I want to just support you um, in you know, that relationship. And I say just take it one step at a time. But it took me getting sick and really sick and spending like 5 months with just my parents in Texas for me to finally work on our relationship, me and my mom's. And there was, so it's tough. It was tough. Um, um, Heather says, I'm glad you're able to consider your own health and well-being in work situations. Yeah, that's a new thing, Heather. That is definitely new. And it is hard. It's still hard every time I say no, and I feel a lot of guilt, an incredible large amount of guilt. But if, I know if I don't, it's just not good for me. So I've learned to listen to myself as much as possible. It's a new thing. It's like a muscle, like a self muscle. It takes a lot of practice, especially because these patterns that we are talking about, we've had for our whole lives. I'm 41. That's a long time. That's a long time. I moved away when I was 20, and the few times she came to visit, she was always brought toilet paper and cakes. That's adorable, Heather. So Rose says she wants me to be just like her and go to church and be a proper Southern Baptist. We've already been estranged last year. That's a tough situation, Silver Willow. Yeah, and I think a lot of people in this community are sort of in that boat where their parents are of a certain religion and they have moved away from the church into this other land that we are in, these other beliefs that resonate with us more so than being a Southern Baptist. So I in that case, if you, I don't know what to say, but I hope that I want to support you in and send you lots of support for that situation. And I know it's tough, and everything else. So and sometimes it's not about love, because we love our parents usually, underlining everything, and it can be very hard to say and stand and be who we are. And it's funny because you're like, I'm still doing this and I'm 40 plus or whatever, and but yet inside, sometimes the parents bring us right back to when we're like 5 or when we're like 12. And that sounds really hard, but you're saying no, just being and living yourself. Yes, Heather put it amazingly. Heather, you have, even though like maybe typing is not your thing, I feel like you've always put things in the best ways. So going on 50. Oh, I didn't know your mom passed away, Heather. Well, Julie's I'm in the broom closet, so to speak, with my sister who lives in Alabama. She and her husband have a church. Oh, wow. Yeah. Silver Willow, I was happier and more at peace when we weren't speaking. Yeah, because it brings all that stuff up. Sometimes you have to get everything out in the open before you can mend things or come together. And I'm not sure how to tell you to proceed, Silver Willow, with that. I think at the core of my mom and my relationship is a lot of love. So we were able to, and our family likes to yell and shout. So we were able to sort of bang that out, so to speak. But my mom, she has a guru, has an Indian guru, and she is constantly wanting me to see him and be a part of, the retreats that they have. And it's not for me. And I have seen him before. I've seen him twice. And I've, been involved a little bit, but it's just not for me. And I say no all the time, but yet she keeps asking. And it's difficult. It's difficult. I'm like, this is not for me, Mom. This is not my thing. It's your thing, and I'm cool with that. And he seems fine. Like I met him. He seems totally fine, legit. Seems like a, but let's see. Heather, is it your birthday? Ah, August. Yes, happy early birthday as well. Right. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Yeah. So I think we're all around, you guys are a tad bit older than me, but we are sort of in the same. I feel like once you go over 40, it's sort of like you're in a different sort of land. I don't know. So let's see. Oh, okay. Wow. Okay. Everyone's the menopause year. Yeah. I mean, I haven't gone through mine yet. So, time space continuum. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. You're the oldest, Julie? All right. I'm usually the oldest, but oh yeah, in this chat. Yeah. Especially at work, because I work with like people in their 20s. And I think all of my managers are younger than me. So it's a funny dynamic. Her. But after 40, yeah, definitely a different time space. Especially for me, because I feel like for me, I went through a lot when I was 40. It was like some sort of testing. But yeah. And my parents are still alive, which I'm really glad, because they're in their 70s and I still need their help, and I still ask for their help no matter how hard it is. I am thankful that I'm able to do that. All right, guys. Well, thanks for sharing. I know that it's got some big stuff, some today, some personal stuff. But we're gonna move on to oh yeah, Silver, happy birthday to you too, coming up very soon. So we're gonna move on to violets. So we are on page 241 in the Violet Weed Walk. And it's almost an hour, you can tell, because my brain is like, all right, so about a month and a half till Silver Roll's birthday. I think some of you guys are, or all of you guys are in the Facebook group, but Heather posted up a violet vinegar picture, and I just wanted to go over really fast like how to make violet vinegar, because we did talk about it, but like so it's really easy. You get vinegar. I prefer apple cider vinegar. However, you won't get that beautiful purple color. So you can use white vinegar, but apple cider vinegar is better, more medicinal, less processed. You get your vinegar, you get your mason jar, you get your violets, flowers. I think also you could use the leaf, but so you need a bunch of violet flowers, as many as you want. The more violet flowers, to less vinegar is going to be stronger. More vinegar, less flowers is going to be weaker. You put everything in a jar, and sometimes you can find those plastic caps for the mason jars. You can find them, use that. If you can't, you're using the metal, you want to put some wax paper on top of the jar, and then put the ring and the top on it, because the vinegar will rust the metal. You shake it up, little shaky shake. Leave it 6 weeks in a kind of a cool, dry place, dark place. Then you strain it out. Then you got violet flower vinegar. So it's really easy, and you can use it as salad dressings. You can just take it as like a shot medicinally. You can use it in cooking, like with rice. It's really good. Anywhere you want to use vinegar, you can use it. So I just wanted to say that. And I do mean to like type that up in the Facebook group, and maybe Susun Weed's got a recipe for it as well, which is on page 269. It's room temperature vinegar. Anyway, so if you have the book, that's what it's on. So yeah, I wanted to post something up there, because I haven't figured out. I want us to be sharing like recipes and stuff. So feel free to post anything about violets that you want. There's a ton of recipes online that I have found that I'm sort of posting as I stumble on them, and yeah, so we can fulfill the herbal portion of the Herbal Book Club. So let's see. Oh, you made some this spring, so well, awesome. Good for bathing, Heather says. Oh, for achy muscles. Okay, well that's awesome. I have not heard that use. I have. So is that any vinegar, Julie, or like specifically the violets? Because I know if you made like vinegar with turmeric in it, That would probably be really good for muscles, although it would definitely turn your legs or whatever muscles you use yellow. So the vinegar, what it does is it extracts the minerals. So whatever minerals are in the plant that you're making a vinegar from, it would go into the vinegar. So it's a really good way to get your minerals. Yeah, it's excellent. I am going to post a link to Susun Weed's webpage on vinegars, and this is not in the book, but it breaks down what minerals are extracted and then what percentage, which is cool. Just okay. So page 41 is the weed walk. It's not letting me post to Facebook. Oh, it's not letting me post the Facebook link. I do have it in the description. So I don't know why it's not letting you do that, but that's okay. That's okay, Heather. I have it in the description. So, and I also think that most everyone is already joined who's here right now. So, all right. We don't have to go far to find violet, so we can complete our walk in a second. Yeah. I mean, if you want to try later, Heather, that's fine too. But I don't know, maybe something's just glitchy. See there, our first violet right here at the edge of the lawn. This is the familiar purple-flowered sweet violet, harbinger of spring, and sturdy perennial provider of soup and salad greens. We find Aunt Violet all spring and summer. And here's the little Heart's Ease, also known as Johnny Jump Up or Wild Pansy. She's a welcome garden annual here ever since I brought a few plants home from a weed walk. I did in an old-fashioned herb garden. If you don't mind walking for a bit, though, we can find more varieties along the path in the woods. Bringing a basket will certainly want to bring back lots of leaves. They'll keep for up to a week in a cloth bag, well cooled, and we'll harvest lots of flowers too. They won't last past the evening, but we'll have eaten them all by then. My favorite spring breakfast is simply wild violet blossoms, eaten one by one, so I can savor the delicate differences in pollen taste, coloration, and smell of each little violet blossom miracle. Keep on the lookout for heart-shaped leaves. On the small side, not tiny, but not so big either. Some cultivated garden violet leaves will grow as big as your outspread hands, but the whole plant of most of these woodland wildlings will fit in your hand. So when I'm making violet oil, I like to wait until the leaves are as big as my hand because I want as much leaf as possible. But I think for eating, you want sort of like the little tender leaves because the big ones are older and they're tougher. I think that's what she's talking about. Violets are so pretty. Yes, they are, Heather. They are. And I get really excited when they start coming up. And we're way past it now, but here they are. Notice how moist the ground is here and how this spot stays cool and damp all summer, but receives lots of sunlight both spring and fall. Don't be afraid to pick all the wild violet blossoms. Really, they are fake flowers. I mean, they don't set any seed. The familiar purple, white, or yellow violet flowers are just for fun and out of sheer exuberance, botanists say. The real flowers, the one that make seeds, come later in autumn. They are green and well hidden in the mass of foliage. So enjoy all the violet blossoms you want every spring. Seems to me that the more of them I pick, the more the plant produces. Come close, sit on this rock, and look into this violet plant. See how all her leaves come up from one place and spread out in a circle? Can you see or feel the slightly downy texture of each leaf? Look at the youngest leaves here in the middle of the violet circle. They are tightly curled all into the center, rolled up from each side into the middle of the leaf. As the leaf grows larger and larger, the curls relax and open into a heart shape. Num num. Yeah. I don't think I got to eat one violet flower this year. I will have to remedy that next year. But I just like barely got violet oil up. So this is when I find they get further away the older I get for picking. You had a few? It is said that plants with heart-shaped leaves comfort and strengthen the heart. But the heart isn't heart-shaped, is it? Not like this, I mean. What does have this shape? Right, the pelvis. In fact, female genitalia are heart-shaped if you gently draw back the outer lips. Yes, violet is a powerful ally for reproductive problems, dissolving and gently removing tumors, cysts, and even some cancers. These small forest violets don't have purple flowers or heart-shaped leaves, but they are violets nonetheless. So I'm not familiar with the forest violets that she is talking about, because normally I harvest like sort of in the lawns and stuff like that. Harder to bend down to pick the flowers. Okay, Heather, that's what I thought you meant. Yeah, they're low to the ground. And it's just like the blood is like rushing to my head, and I'm just like, oh. Yeah. So I know what you mean. If you had like a small child running around to pick all the flowers, that would be the best. It's like, hey, pick all the flowers. Let's play a game. So, but my nose is itchy. You know, I guess we'll just have to deal with that. If we want violet flowers, Heather. What remains the same is the healing, slimy slickness of the leaves. Chew this one. Now spit it onto your hand and rub your hands together. Do you feel it? The more slippery the violet is when I chew it, the better medicine I find it to be. It is a chore to harvest the little leaves of the wild violets here in the woods, so I usually eat my fill of them, but gather the larger leaves of the garden violets for my pharmacy. Let's sit here now and listen to the soft murmur of the spring sweeping from the cliff. Murmur of the spring sweeping from the cliff. Let's sit here for a while and breathe in the lush scent of the violets and the clean air. Someone told me that violets won't grow where the air isn't clean. Let's sit here for as long as we can, open to messages from the violets, and then we'll go home and make a beautiful salad with Aunt Violet's gift. And there is a quote here. The salicylic acid found in all parts of fresh violets is an active disinfectant and tissue solvent. It is applied externally in ointments to soften hard skin, corns, and warts. It is also fungicidal. Charlotte Erickson Brown, 1979. So I'm not sure who she is, but there's a quote. see it down here? Heather says I've come across yellow in the woods of Pennsylvania. I have only seen the purple ones. So we seem to only have the purple ones around here. Yes, Julie. Yes. If Julie, for next year, if you have some violets, you can maybe that would be a good project for you and your grandkids. And also introduce them to like a really cool plant. Okay, and the white. Yeah, we just seem to have purple, mostly purple. And maybe ones that like are purple and have a little white in them, but like, yeah, I'm not seeing the yellow. But I've not been on the lookout for the yellow, so I will be on the lookout for them. And sometimes when you're looking for things, you find them, especially with these wild plants. All right, guys. So we are probably going to stop there for today because we had quite a discussion. Next week, we're going to delve into violet leaf properties and uses. And then and that's on page 242 to page 245. If anyone wants to read ahead, and then also the Wise Woman Tradition insists on uniqueness, page 27 to 28. And if y'all wanted to post if you had any violet awesomeness to post in the Facebook group, please feel free to do. If you have any questions about violets or about the book, it's open. It's for discussion when we are not here every week. And then I'll post questions for next week in the Facebook group and also here for like the playback, because I know a lot of people watch the playback because they can't get to the live. It's kind of a weird time for US and UK. So I work at night, and I know some of us are retired, so that's why we're able to get here. I'm going to read it. Oh, awesome, Julie. I've had my granddaughter pick dandelions for me. Yeah. So what did she think of the dandelion picking? There says, yes, I'm going to feed Mama Cat. Oh, Clover got a fluffy tail. It's full of sticky seed heads. She sounds amazing. Amazing. Oh, Silver Roll says it's been awesome. Oh, thanks, guys. Yeah. Thanks for coming. Thanks for sharing, and thanks for hanging out with me. Yes, thanks for the conversation. Yes, Heather says yes. Okay, so yes, I will put up some questions for next week, or a question in the description and also in the Facebook group. And I want to post that awesome information about violet vinegar and vinegars in general. And I'll put the links both places because I know some people don't have Facebook. And yeah, everyone have a wonderful day. And just be kind to yourselves, kind to yourselves, be honest with yourselves, take care of yourselves, be gentle. Yeah, you guys are awesome. So I will see you guys next week here and probably in a chat somewhere, during the rest of the week. Oh, and if you haven't entered my giveaway, I'm having a giveaway, and the deadline is the 18th. I just put like 2 weeks, for entry, like is a super long time, but and then I'm not sure if I'm gonna have a live drawing or not, so I'm still trying to figure that out. But yeah, feel free to enter. And it's for like a deck of your choice. International is welcome, and also like $40 gift certificate from my Etsy shop. Lots of goodies. So because I hit 400 subs, I'm over 400 subs now, and I really appreciate everybody. So because that's amazing that 400 people want to hear me ramble about stuff. So yeah. Aw, thanks, Heather. Oh, you got it. You got it. You got it. Cool. It worked. Okay, so the link works to the group. All right, guys. Have a good day, and I will see you later. Bye.